call to order. Roll call. Jonathan.
Here.
And Jan. Here. Okay. And Deborah. Here. Pledge allegiance, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Approval of the administration's report up for the meeting of August 10th, 2021. I did notice one error on here. I voted present and it says the minutes were approved 2-1. I would vote to say yes on this. If you change that, that would be great.
So there's 2-0. We don't have an issue with that. So I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Thank you. Next, we have citizen concerns. Anybody have any citizen concerns? Mr. Hagan, come on up. By the way, I'd like to ask.
Evening, Jim Hagan, 10741 Avenue Road. Just a quick question, not really concerned, but just I mentioned to Jonathan, I was curious, because I know that during the past summer, there's been a couple events in the parks that have had alcohol. And so I'm wondering, is there a procedure if I want to have a gathering in a park that I can get a permit to have alcohol? And if so, what is that procedure and where do I go to apply for it?
My guess would be if you were going to do that, if that were the case, you would probably have to talk to the administrator. Would be my guess.
Okay, because I've always been under the assumption that there wasn't alcohol in the parks.
That's
and
correct.
I prefer it stay that way, but if we're going to do that, I'd like to know what the parameters are and what's the regulations.
You bring a good point.
If you want to give a quick question, what were the 2 events that were happening in the park that you're talking about? The 2 events, what were they? What were the 2 events that you were talking about?
I don't know, but I'm just seeing that, if we're allowing that, I can see where we're going down the road that, all right, so I want to have a family get together, and we want to have alcohol. Is it allowed or something? What are the requirements that dictate that allow you to have alcohol versus not? I think it would need to be spelled out somewhere so that we don't run into that problem down the road. Because once we've opened that door, I'm sure there's going to be other people that are going to say, hey, why did they and why can't I? So that's...
Mr. Hagan, which 2 parks, I think Jonathan just asked that question as well, which 2 parks were the ones that had the alcohol?
I'm sorry, I'm not
Which
hearing
2 parks were the ones that had the alcohol? Do you remember which ones they were that you saw? Or
I'm still not...
which 2 parks had alcohol?
As far as I know, I'm going to say they had the event out at Woodlands with the sculptures, and recently they had the was that a Rotary that they had because my understanding is that group couldn't have it on school grounds because of the same issue, but they were able to have it on parks. So that's my only question before I so.
I can follow up for you, Mr. Hagan, and find out.
No, I appreciate bringing that to our attention because I know that when there was a conversation regarding DORA, which we'll probably be seeing here soon, one of the reasons why it was ended at Louisiana was because you can't have alcohol in the parks per the ordinance.
Right.
And if there's different permitting process for that, I would like to know that as well.
And if they had alcohol in the city parks, they're in violation of the ordinance.
So I think it's something we have to talk to administration on.
Well, we need to find out if it really happened.
No.
I mean, if someone brought alcohol they weren't supposed to, they shouldn't have ticketed.
I will say that during the sculptures event, that is true, that I remember seeing alcohol present underneath the tent. I was not part of that group, but I knew that it came afterwards. and just went around and looked at the sculptures. But they did have some alcohol present there.
I think this is something that will definitely be followed up on.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, I did have a citizen raise a concern as well regarding Municipal Park. I know that, I believe it was brought to the attention of our administration, so I'll be doing some follow-up on this. But some concerns with some behavior that has occurred here recently. I think someone had a taser in the park and was shooting around, loud music, and a few other complaints that were made. So I was going to talk with the administration to see if there's been any other reports on that as well. So I'll be reaching out on that.
There's also been vandalism in the bathrooms. I'm sure I got the email.
Yeah. So we've been having some issues, and I think with the budget conversation, I know this is a little early, but I think it's something we should be, for a member of the safety community, to relay that having additional patrols from our police during the summer months might not be a bad idea to have that conversation.
I have it down that I was going to talk to the chief, so I'm one step ahead of you from that.
Thank you, Deborah.
You're welcome. Under old business, anyone have anything?
The only thing I'll just mention is with the hockey arena, I am meeting with Mr. Fisher tomorrow morning to discuss some of the information that has come back to see where things are at with him.
Okay, I'm going to leave this then on the agenda, and unless there is anything, if there is nothing else to say, then I will remove it. Under new business, we have a prac appointment review person. Well, we're going to be reviewing the person. Where is Mr. Worst? I just saw him. Did he leave us? Okay, Dana Worst was here. He is up for the prac appointment. And he does a lot with lacrosse. He's one of the main guys with lacrosse. He's a really great guy. I would say he has my support on this. I don't know what everybody else has to say.
I don't think I really have too many. They should know if anything came up on it. I didn't see him here. Hopefully he didn't leave because the meeting ended for the Friday one.
I encouraged him to stay, so unless he had to leave, I'm not sure. Okay, so please either one, Mr. Borders.
I don't have any issues.
I don't either.
Thank you. Okay. Review of the administration request to pursue a grant from the Wood County Park District. And this is Judy Hagan and Rob Ross. Heard their talk about it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
This is a grant that we apply for every year. If you remember, there are three monetary delineations. The first is purchase of trash receptacles. Those will be going at Riverside Park. Park is quite popular, and we need to have more trash cans there. These would match that same style that is there, and that's for under the $5,000 category.
I think I'd only, sorry to interrupt you, Judy, but the one thing I would like to add, and Judy touched on it, but there's been an increase in participation in the parks this year, and I know that's been a common complaint that there's not enough trash receptacles, so I just wanted to make sure.
I've made that complaint a few times.
I knew you were aware of that, that's why I mentioned it. So.
Then the second is installation of sunshades over the picnic tables by Municipal Playground. They would look the same style that we have, same company that we have the shades at Fort Imagination over the picnic area. This one is, the total cost is $13,011.36. We're only going to be asking for $10,000 because that's the break-off point for that grant. It's a $5,000 to $10,000, and we're only asking the $10,000 because then for the top category of $10,000 and above, we are asking for an ADA kayak launch. Shows a diagram. This would be at Hood Park at the Louisiana docks. This would go right onto the docks that are there. Same company who fabricated the docks would be fabricating this. This would give people access to put in a kayak along the river on the river trail. That we have all the signs of from the beginning of the Maumee River down to the end down at Lake Erie. So this is usable by anyone and everyone. Do you have any questions?
I have one question. Is this kind of like a clip-on? Is that what you're talking about? Kind of a clip-on to that area per se? Is that what you
It's an attachment to the existing dock,
Yes.
correct?
If you look at the diagram, this is the existing dock, and then it goes on to the dock that's there. It's just the launch part that's being added.
Just a couple quick questions. First question, with all three of these projects, if we do not receive the funding, are we prepared to move forward with them regardless?
We'd have to budget for them.
So these are not budgeted for?
These are not budget items.
Okay. I know that we'll have an amended budget coming up, but regardless with this kayak, if we don't get this, this is something that I've been wanting us to put something in like this for, since I first got on council.
Okay.
I know we've had presentation in the past. Regardless if we get this grant, I think this is important to put in the budget. I think it's a great opportunity for the community to get people, more traffic into not only the parks down there at Hood Park or Riverside, but to bring more people to the businesses who can pull in their kayak stop, get out and walk up and grab a bite to eat going along the way.
Yeah, well, I think we would agree with that, and we feel like there's not a compaction issue, certainly not during the week. You know, parking's always been a concern down there, but we feel like during the week you can drive down there most times, unless, you know, the boat club's gonna have a function or an event, but there's certainly a lot of space. Those docks are not being utilized, so this might help, we hope.
And we do have a good record of getting grants from the Wood County Park District. Sunshades, safety surfacing for the playgrounds, edging, park furniture. So we have a good record. You never know from year to year what their focus is going to be. It's 3 or 5 people who view all of this. They're outside the area. They come, they visit our parks. Also included with it is what we have done in our parks, so they see that we are doing things in our parks, and we're not relying solely on grant money to do that. So hopefully, this will be one of them we'll get. You never get all 3 of them, but you spread it out.
We felt like 2 of them, not to interrupt you again, but we felt like 2 of them touch on safety.
Yeah.
So we felt like that would help our cause.
And it just depends on what their focus is. For quite a while, it was playground. They got everybody's playground up to snuff in the whole county. And then they just determine what their focus is going to be, and we don't know. We ask for things that we need.
You got another question?
I have another question here as well. With the trash receptacles for Riverside Park, is there any thoughts of converting 1 or 2 into a recycling receptacle for either plastic or glass or anything like that? That might be something you consider with this, just because the nature of how our waste is, especially with the county and the grants that they offer with the recycling programs. Might be
We have tried it downtown. It was not successful. People see a trash can, they put trash in it, even when it has a big blue circle that says recycle. So I wouldn't be adverse to it, but in our try of doing it downtown in streetscape, it was not successful at all.
The only problem is that it's a great idea, and I don't disagree with you. It's just one piece contaminates, and then it ends up being part of, and it just seems like you go through the effort. Not that that would be much effort other than tagging the top. I'm not saying we couldn't. We'll explore it. I promise to do that. To see what it would take to do that.
I would say, excuse me for 1 second. I would say that on all 3 of these grants, I reviewed them, and I would say since it's not involving city money, I am very much in support.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how everyone else feels.
I'm actually excited with this, and I know you've done a wonderful job over the years coming in and giving these presentations. Looking at all your all your that packet that you have there as well. So I know you're doing a great job of getting these. You've done a wonderful job of getting these funds in the past. And regardless of this, I do think there's something we should be exploring here within the budget, especially the kayak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, because she said, I got this. Just don't say too much.
This now calls for you to bring it to council, make a resolution to apply for the grant. The grant is due October 22nd. So
Next question.
you just need to do a resolution. Kate has written up a resolution, basically says applying for the Wood County grant, these 3 levels, these 3 projects, and then that way the district knows that the council is approving what's happening, that we're going for grants.
Do you have a question,
Had a very
Jan?
good track record in this game of
Yes.
getting grants. So
Yeah, we've been very
I have
lucky.
confidence in it.
Yes.
And I agree totally with Jonathan about if we don't get any money whatsoever for that kayak, to try to get it through the budget.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Anything else?
Well, good help.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks
thank
for
you
your
very
time.
much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Nice to see you both. Thank you. Under the Pratt report, we unfortunately don't have a Pratt report because Pratt did not meet in October. And next meeting will be the first Monday of November.
I went to have something I wanted to bring up on our new business, I missed it in my grant information. I'd love to explore the possibility of creating or finding a location or of a skateboard park.
Oh, I'm with you on that. That would be a great idea. I know that it's come before this committee long before I was on council. A young man, he's now in Bowling Green, he kind of got fed up with trying to do it. He did raise money toward it. He was trying to put it in Rotary Park, as I recall. And I think it's a great idea.
There's room, and if you've ever been down 2nd Street, West 2nd, all the kids skateboarding down
Yeah.
there, you'll know that.
Sure.
I would love to explore the possibility of that.
Thank you. I'm in agreement with you on that. I think that would be a great idea. And maybe put it out on the west side, as he was trying to do.
Yeah, there's plenty of room on Rotary.
It used to be on the master plan, on the Rotary master plan, but I don't think it was in the revised one
Yeah.
that was updated. But I don't disagree. I think that those would be a wonderful thing to have. It's just more of the cost and the country and the liability that we talked about before.
How does Bowling Green?
I don't think,
Maumee has one too.
I don't think, if I can add to that, Jonathan, that it was really terribly expensive what he brought forward when he brought his presentation. It wasn't that bad.
I can't remember what it was, but it'd be nice to have that re-explored as well.
I think so. I agree.
Considering it's not an Olympic sport,
Anybody else have anything else? Thank you, Jan. Appreciate it.
you're welcome.
Let's see. Announcement of the next meeting date, which will be the 2nd Tuesday of November. I did not have a chance to go completely through all of the recreation items yet that we would be looking at for the budget. So if anybody has any questions or they want to bring something up now that we could look at, that would be great. If not, we can look at it next week.
I'm okay with the next meeting. And hopefully we can have Rob here and Bridget as well as Kate to have those conversations, find out what the administration's thinking with these.
Yes, Kate could not be here tonight, and Bridget is out of town for the week. Okay, I will do that. So our next meeting date is, does that have a calendar? in front
Yeah,
of them?
I just had it up. It would be November 9th.
November 9th at 6:30 will be our next meeting. Does anyone have anything else to bring forward? Thank you so much. That's it.